Well, the Lord put on my heart to start a school in the inner city. And I did not know how that was going to happen, so I just started praying about it.
In 1987, the Dallas Morning News did a story on the West Dallas Community Church.
I tore that article out of the paper, put it in my Bible, and started praying for him.
In 1991, I met Robin Lewis, and she said, "My name is Robin Lewis. I've been praying for you, and I would like to help you start a private Christian school in West Dallas."
And his head kind of went back, and he looked at me and he said, "Well, I've been praying for that for 11 years.
So Robin and I began to pray. In 1987, Carol Sonia also saw that same article.
Only recently did Wilson meet an important ally, Carol Sonju, wife of Dallas Mavericks GM Norm Sonju. She is an educator by training.
God was doing the supernatural by touching the individual heart about a Christian school in West Dallas.
Arvil and Robin had been praying together for who the first really headmistress of the school was going to be, or headmaster.
West Dallas Community Church built a community center here in West Dallas.
And at the opening ceremony for the gym, Carol came up to Mrs. Wilson and said, "What do you think about starting a school now that this gym is here?" And so she went over and talked to Pastor Wilson, and he said, "Great, if you'll be the head." And she said, "I don't know anything about being the head." He said, "Well, you're it." And so she answered the call.
And I can remember them talking earlier about the prayer sessions that they had prior to the first practical piece of this puzzle of the school. And I would look around sometimes when they talked about the vision of the school. I'm like, oh Lord, where's this coming from?
From the very beginning, I was amazed by all the pieces that God had brought together.
It just became apparent that we could work as a team. So with much prayer, we began.
The school was started in August of '95.
It really was difficult in the early days to recruit students because we didn't have a track record, we had no recognition. All we had was really the reputation of Arvil and Aletha.
There are schools here in the community. There's elementary schools, there's a middle school, and there's a high school. But to provide an alternative to those places for families that are looking for something different. A lot of the parents don't even know. They know they want something different than what they had, but they don't know what it looks like.
It wasn't good enough to just be better than public school. It wasn't good enough for them to just do better than what the kids were used to. They really wanted to give them the excellence that this population deserves.
When West Dallas was created, and I looked at the curriculum, just even in the early years where they were going to try to take the children from the beginning to the end, it was like, wow, I wished I had this when I was coming up.
We felt like the children deserved the very best and nothing less.
Both in the math, the sciences, the languages, they look at the classical approach. It's very rich in language, very rich in literature, you don't put fluff before the kids. Through teaching them things of value, of character, of truth, you radically change a child's life. And these children have the opportunity now to redirect their lives and redirect the lives of their children and their grandchildren.
And it was really as the children began to graduate, as they saw the construction of the permanent building, that the trust and the desire to take the risk. It's not as easy to bring your child to school here. There are expectations.
The school has affected my home life. I respect my parents more. I feel like I can come talk to them.
The school really is a light, I think, for a lot of families and for a lot of children that wouldn't have had an opportunity.
I've always been so grateful for the quality of teachers that the Lord has brought here.
Education truly is a life-on-life discipleship process.
And whether we were in our old portable buildings and adding a portable building at a time, or in the building that we're currently in, what makes a difference is the faculty that's here, the children, and the parents.
We didn't necessarily always see the way God saw, but God in His providence has made a bigger impact than I even thought possible.
feel safe, I feel guided, I feel like I have a shepherd right by me. Like, it's like God is a shepherd and I'm just the lamb.
Part of the city that was once called a forgotten city, but now you see how it's a way of racial reconciliation when people see the need to come together to make a difference in a community. And it's all through the instrument of the West Dallas Community School.
As a parent, you always want better for your children. You always want them to achieve much more than what you have achieved. You always want them to be in a safe, loving environment. And I can't think of a better place than here at West Dallas Community School.
And we all succeed when these children succeed. And they are succeeding.
When I came to the school is where I came to know God.
It has changed me to realize that I am beautiful in every way, that I am made in the image of God, and that everything I do, right or wrong, can affect my life.
I'm not really looking forward to graduation because I kind of want to stay here.